Divorce doesn't just end a relationship, it exposes the hidden wounds no one but you can see. Stay with me until the end, because in the darkest moment of heartbreak lies the secret to turning pain into strength and walking into a new life. There are nights when you lie awake, staring at the silent walls around you, and the emptiness feels as if it is swallowing pieces of your soul. You remember every word, every glance, every pause between the two of you. Moments that once felt like safety, now cutting into you like a knife. Divorce doesn't just take away the partner you once held close. It strips bare everything you tried to hide from yourself. The fear of being abandoned, the haunting sense of not being enough, the tears you shed alone in silence, never spoken of. This pain doesn't live in words or glances anymore. It lives deep within your heartbeat, your breath, your memories, forcing you to confront yourself with no escape. You look back at the relationship and realize how much of yourself you sacrificed just to keep the peace, how often you bent and shrank to make someone else comfortable. And when the love collapses, the emptiness where joy once lived becomes undeniable. Anger rises, disappointment floods in, not only toward the one who left, but toward yourself, for placing trust where it could never be honored. The betrayals, the cold silences, the careless words once brushed aside, now they are scars carved too deep to erase. And here lies a brutal truth so many face after divorce. It is not just the loss of a partner, but the heavy weight pressing in on every part of life. Loneliness creeps into the smallest routines, eating alone, returning to an empty home, noticing the vacant chair at the kitchen table. This is the kind of pain no one sees, yet it cuts you over and over, reminding you that the life you once knew is gone forever. Society looks at you through different eyes. Some pity, some judge, some pull away because they don't know what to say. That silence can feel harsher than any words. And if you have children, the wound is doubled. You carry the burden of being both mother and father, wiping your tears in secret so they never see your breaking point. Every decision, custody, finances, the future of your children slices deep, because divorce never touches only two adults. It marks the hearts of the little ones who once trusted that love would last. Then comes the financial weight, heavy and relentless. Bills to pay, children to raise, debts still hanging over your head. Each night you wrestle not only with today's struggles, but with tomorrow's uncertainty. This mix of loneliness, social judgment, parental responsibility, and financial pressure makes post-divorce pain one of the deepest wounds a human can carry. And yet, only by facing these truths head-on, without denial, without escape, can you begin the long, difficult path toward true healing. In this truth, what wounds most people is not merely losing the one who once walked beside them, but the collapse of the image they had believed in. Family was once seen as a fortress of safety, but when it crumbles, you are forced to accept that the place once called home is now only four cold walls. You must face the reality that there is no longer anyone to shield you, no one to share the burden, and from now on, every weight rests on your own shoulders. Loneliness does not stop at meals without laughter. It shows up in evenings when your child asks, "Why isn't Dad coming home?" Or, "Where is Mom?" These seemingly simple questions strike straight into the deepest wound, twisting your heart with the knowledge that your children too are carrying a loss you cannot erase. In these moments you see your own helplessness laid bare. You want to protect them, yet you cannot fill such a vast emptiness. Out there, society sees only the surface. People gossip, judge, ask questions, but few understand that behind the calm facade, you are wrestling with unpaid bills, school fees, and painful decisions about selling the house or dividing assets. Every choice carries loss, and every loss digs another layer deeper into your grief. This is the hidden depth of collapse. It is not simply a story of failed love, but the collision between a person and their own limits, where you must face responsibility, judgment, loneliness, and the haunting fear of the future all at once. And only by daring to confront these truths directly can you find a path to true rebirth. There will come days when you no longer cry, but the emptiness still hangs above you like a gray cloud. You go to work, you talk to others, you try to appear normal, yet inside a whisper keeps echoing. Do I have the strength to keep going? That question is the root of the post-divorce wound. The feeling that your foundation has been taken away, that there is nothing left to hold on to, no certainty that tomorrow will be any better than today. Loneliness is not just being alone. It is the feeling that no one truly sees you. Once, even in conflict, there was someone who witnessed your daily habits, your weariness, your small joys. Now, every moment turns invisible, and you are forced to accept that life goes on even as your heart is breaking. Financial pressure never stops knocking. Facing bills alone, caring for your children, weighing every expense, these seemingly small things can crush your spirit. You realize that after separation, you did not only lose a relationship, but also a sense of safety, both material and emotional. And then, society's gaze becomes a mirror of judgment. Some whisper that you failed, that you were not good enough to keep the family together. These words, no matter how much you try to ignore them, pierce deep like knives, awakening the fear that perhaps you truly are unworthy of love, not strong enough to stand firm. But in the very moment of facing these brutal truths, another door quietly opens. The door of inner maturity, where you no longer rely on the eyes of others, but learn to see your own worth in your resilience and in your ability to rise again after collapse. And here lies the most painful part. When everything finally settles, when the arguments have ended, when the court papers and asset divisions are no longer consuming your days, this is when the true emptiness begins to appear. At night, the silence of the empty house echoes so loudly that you can hear the ticking clock striking against your heart. Fear no longer comes from tasks that need solving, but from a larger question: can I ever be happy again? Children, if they are still young, become the clearest mirrors of your sorrow. You see their eyes grow heavy with sadness when they mention the absent parent, and guilt tears you apart. You wanted to give them a whole home, but now only two halves remain, forever unable to fit together as before. You try to make up for it with love, with presence, yet deep inside you wonder whether these cracks will follow them for a lifetime. Society, too, can be cruel in its silence. Friends extend fewer invitations, neighbors avoid eye contact, colleagues keep the conversation strictly professional. You become invisible in the eyes of many, as though divorce had turned you into a social verdict. And within that invisibility, you confront the deepest pain, not only losing love, but losing your sense of belonging. Yet from this ultimate loss, a new truth begins to emerge. When there is nothing left to cling to, you are forced to find strength within yourself. You realize that happiness is not something someone else can hand you. It is the ability to rise, trembling, from the ruins of your past. Eventually, you learn that pain cannot be buried or ignored. It doesn't vanish simply because you keep yourself busy, nor does it fade just because others say, "Time heals all wounds." Time only opens the space for you to face it. True healing lies in how you treat yourself. After divorce, you are no longer who you once were. You have changed. Loss teaches you the limits of your endurance, but also offers the chance to rediscover your true worth. You learn to stand in an empty room and see it not as an enemy, but as a space where you return to yourself. You learn to speak to your children not only with comfort, but with honesty, showing them that sorrow is real, Yet from sorrow, one can rise again. You learn to step outside without being shackled by judgmental eyes, because you now understand no one can live your life for you, and no one can bear your pain in your place. This is the deeper meaning of collapse. It shatters illusions, yet also opens the path for you to find your inner strength. You may have lost a partner, a home as once imagined, but you have discovered something far more precious: the ability to stand alone, the courage to love yourself, and the bravery to step into a future unchained from the past. And from within the fragments, a spiritual awakening is born, not from someone else, but from your own heart, the very place that once ached the most, now becoming the first to spark with light. Sometimes it is in the very moment of breaking that one discovers their truest essence. Pain may tear you apart, but it also opens the door to growth and awakening. If these words resonate with you, share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe so we can continue journeying together through the profound depths of psychology, guided by the insights of Carl Jung. For light only appears when we dare to walk through the dark.